We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on the Miami Dolphins defense. They really showed up and played huge versus the Cowboys, who were a tough test. They had a little bit of a slow start, gave up some big plays early, but really turned it around and held them consecutively, with stopping them over and over and over again. They had so much pressure on Dak. It was really fun to watch the defensive line. They played with super high effort. A lot of players made big plays, as you'll see. I'll break it down throughout the video. Chubb and Van Ginkel were absolutely dominant. They actually played some different coverages this week. They played a lot of 1 and 0 at times, bringing in some extra pressure, which was interesting to see. And up front, they were all over Dak, and they covered good on the back end, especially after giving up some big plays to Lamb early. They made their adjustments. They probably want to take some stuff back at the end, but there were some unfortunate penalties that allowed the Cowboys to have these long drives. But overall, I think this is a top 5 unit, and I'm very comfortable with them going into the postseason, rest of the season, how it all ends up playing out. This play was unfortunate, fourth down, short situation, and they got a big stop finally after the Cowboys did a good job of getting into a lot of second and twos early on, and that's kind of how they kept the drives going. But if they didn't gain anything on first down, they were just behind on their plays, and they would just get instant pressure. But then when they got to third and fourth and short, they were doing a good job of converting. They just pull down, they run, the read option here. Dak has the option to give this, but also pull, but then has the option to throw down to Ferguson in the flat. And it just puts these guys in a bind, and then they get all this yards after catch. This is their first drive, and, you'll see how it ends up playing out. Obviously, it was very interesting, and also just a huge turning point, too, for this game. One of the biggest plays of the game, they run the speed option, get this toss out to Pollard, and he has the freest walk into the end zone I've ever seen, and he decides to cut it up, and he still should have gotten from, the angle that he took, but a huge play by Elliott, and also Sealer getting out there and getting involved. This is a huge, outstanding play because of what comes next. Good hustle by Sealer, good job from Elliott to slow him down out here, getting an arm and pulling him back when he had that much momentum to not get in the end zone, which then turns into the fumble down here, and it keeps them from scoring. I love this effort because you never know. These types of plays can change games. They don't get a touchdown on the first drive. Really big stuff from the defense. And it's sometimes they have slow starts like this versus better offenses, but once they start getting a feel for what you're trying to do, Fangio makes really good adjustments, and the defensive players lock in, and they just start flowing after a couple series or two. They start feeling it for sure. This was probably the Cowboys' most, best drive, most explosive drive, getting CeeDee Lamb in the slot and just running him over on some in-breakers. And the Dolphins were trying to run cover one, and they just got him caught here. Kohu beats him he beats Kohu one-on-one. And then you get into the next big play where they try to do something different, and it was clearly just a miscommunication between Kohu and Elliott. Kohu and Elliott were bracketing him, and this is what should have happened. Once he crossed his face to the inside, Elliott should have taken him, and then Kohu should go down to the flat. They just get a miscommunication. He gets catches the ball in full speed. Brandon Jones is caught a little bit lacking on space, and then he just makes Elliott miss again. So definitely tough play there from Elliott, but he did also make one of the biggest plays of the game. So, we'll let it slide too. And CeeDee Lamb is just a very good player. But they did also, after this, way less miscommunications. The communication became way better, and they just were, for literally 10 drives straight, just absolutely shutting it down. This is another, big play that, it didn't end up mattering because they got the roughing the passer. But you could just see it was the first drive after the touchdown. They should have caused a 3-and-out, getting quick pressure by Wilkins, but they get this lame roughing the passer call. They do get him off the field quickly after this, so it doesn't end up mattering. But just the pressure from Wilkins up front, if you look at him versus the right guard, he just bull rushes him all the way back into the face. Chubb also getting some pressure. And then the only reason it happened, if you see, the broadcast view, Prescott pulled him down on top of him to draw the flag, which, it was just a ridiculous call. The 3 plays right after the roughing the passer, they respond. They get, the sack here for Van Ginkel. Good coverage on the back end. Dolphins are in cover 6. Everything's covered up. Good job by safety play here. Drive on that. Pull away his first read. Force Prescott to try to escape Van Ginkel. Prescott was honestly getting absolutely tormented back there. I kind of felt bad for him, but they take away his reads. You can see him take, not there, have to pull and run. Sealer slow him down. Van Ginkel get out there in space. You get a sack. And then the next play, Sealer gets a nice little knockdown at the line of scrimmage. They're trying to get the ball quick. He has an actual, option there. Probably could have gained 6 yards, but it doesn't end up working. So now that you do that, you get him to even longer. Now 3rd and longs. When it was 3rd and long, the Dolphins absolutely fed. Forced Prescott to hold on to it. You can see they're trying to run a clear out here and then throw the dig behind it. Linebackers do a good job of getting depth, take away these throwing lanes. Safeties are passing things off very nicely. Things are taken away. force Prescott to try to pull it down and run, and everyone, converge on him. So good coverage, just good combination marriage on the back end, and with the front getting pressure, and good job from Van Ginkel and Sealer. They were playing out of their minds. So was Chubb, so was Wilkins. All of them deserve a lot of credit. Then the next drive, another third down situation, 3rd and 6, at least, not super easy type of situation. Dolphins bring pressure. They go cover 0 on this pressure. You can see no deep safeties. They're disguising like it might be a 1, but you can see Brandon Jones right here closes the space down, gets man-to-man here. That's where Dak is trying to go, but he sees the safety just close fast, so he doesn't release it. He's getting all this pressure on him too quick before anyone else really even has a chance, and they all converge on him. Everyone gets involved. They bring multiple people. Sealer, David Long, Andrew Van Ginkel. Great plays again. There was just so many drives straight where they just kept getting pressure on Dak instantly. Like, they just, play after play, they bring pressure. They go cover 1, force the ball out again. They bring a blitz up the middle. They kept getting free linebackers on these blitzes. They would get there with 4. They could get there bringing 5. They slide their protection to the right, and they're bringing Duke back to the left. Great play call from Fangio. Forces, a nice errant throw. Dak has no time at all. Then the next play, Dolphins go cover 6 on the 3rd down. They get more pressure, working some stunts up front. Nowhere for Dak to go with that ball with how quickly they're getting to him. These guys are playing out of their mind. Literally everyone up front. Like, you can see the stunts that they're working. Wilkins crashing down. Van Ginkel looping. Same thing on the opposite side with Sealer and Chubb. And they force Dak to throw it away. Possibly, getting close to getting these safeties. They made him so uncomfortable. The pressure rate was so high. That was like the huge difference maker in this game. And after, so many drives straight of them not doing literally anything, going 3 and out over and over, they finally got a big play, but then that was like pretty much all they got on that drive to finish off, getting a field goal. They took the deep shot. Howard just kind of gets mossed, gets caught lacking a little bit. He had a chance for the interception. This is late throwing against cover 3. Everything else is taken away. Dak had a little extra time than usual, and he chucks it up, and he just wins the 50-50 ball. These types of things, I guess, they happen. Sometimes they're incomplete. Sometimes they, get it on this specific scenario. It was almost intercepted. Just an unfortunate play, but at least after this, they hold him to a field goal. Then here, after getting them to 3rd and 16, Dolphins rotate into cover 6. They did a mix of stuff from playing a lot of cover 1, a little more cover 1 than usual, because they usually play like a 3 match, but they were playing more 1 straight up, like 1 lurk. They even ran some 0 at times, and then on 3rd and longs, they run a lot of cover 6. Just bring 4 because they trust their 4 to get there. Everything's taken away. This is a good job by Brandon Jones. If you watch Jones over here, Dak's trying to get him. They love to throw these balls down the middle of the field, and LA does a good job of finding him, and Jones is in a good spot. He's leveraging these 2 routes. He doesn't want to, get too wide, or they throw this over the middle. He doesn't want to get too close to the middle, or they're going to throw this deep ball in the cover 2 corner. And Dak's looking at it. Jones is in a good spot to jump both, and now he starts to feel the pressure because they do a good job, and he has forced to dump it off. And this is a 3rd and 16. They gain like 5 yards, and now they had to kick a field goal. Then the next drive, Cowboys actually do a decent job getting down the field. There was like a big Dak run, gain 22 yards. This is another, scenario like 3rd and 3, and they hold them to a field goal. Dolphins do a good job. Van Ginkel carries this running back. They're just matching up across the board. They're trying to bring pressure here with Long, matched up here. He had a chance to possibly go to Ferguson over the middle. He's just forced to escape the pocket because they get someone coming in unblocked. Bradley Chubb. I'm not sure what the Cowboys O-line's doing on this specific play. They had 3 to the side. I guess the left tackle must have thought they were sliding to the right, so they only had 2 to this side. But since the slider slid to the left, they had 3 on 3. But so he thought he had to take this guy, but that was wrong. So Chubb comes in unblocked. It's forced him to throw it up, and Van Ginkel covering people down the field. It's insane, the versatility this guy brings to the team. Getting into that final drive, which was super long. The Cowboys either went 3 and out or had really long drives. There was that one big play I showed against Howard, but other than that, all their drives were super long. Their touchdown drives, it's very hard to move the ball against this Dolphins defense. It's 3rd and 6. They go man-to-man, and, they win their battles up front. It gets the exact look they want. Lamb just beats Needham out there one-on-one. It is a tough ask for Nick Needham to guard Lamb in space. But, God, they won so fast up front. It's unfortunate. This could have been a huge stop for the defense. They get exactly what they want. Sealer looping around. Wilkins crashes down perfectly. Great play by Wilkins to set this up. Gets Sealer out. Also, Van Ginkel beating his guy, but great play by Dak and Lamb to win on that one. Then the Dolphins respond. Right after that, that critical 3rd down. They get him to another 3rd down and then get him to a 4th down. This is 4th and 2, and, they're running, some rollout to the right. really the only option is him to go to Lamb. Everything else is pretty much taken away. He really couldn't run. This is guarded. Nowhere else except to chuck it up. But Lamb wins versus Howard. In my opinion, this should have been a push-off. That's OPI. He shoves like full extension with that left arm. Howard was looking for it, and for the DPIs they called at the end of this drive because that kind of hurt them. To me, this should have never even got down to there because this was offensive pass interference. So they should have lost 10 yards, been 4th and 12, and then they probably would have punted at that point in the game. It would have made more sense. And yeah, so to me, that was OPI. I wouldn't really blame that one on Howard too much going against Lamb. But then that kind of cost them too. So the refs weren't great in this game overall for both teams. There was definitely missed calls on both sides, but I do think it was still relatively even. And then after so many plays, like 8 more plays just to get down to the spot, it's 4th and goal. This is the one where they get double DPI. To me, I think, Howard held a little bit off the top. I actually don't think Elliott really hooked him. I think it was a weak PI call, and that's where the target went. Overall, I understood why they called it, but they kind of had this stop. So it is unfortunate. But this was a pretty strange play of events for the defense because then it went to this play, and I don't know what the Cowboys are doing not running this ball here. And then Chubb just comes in unblocked. That would have been a huge stop because then they were, trying to throw this ball up to Lamb, basically on the fade. Howard's in good position. Forced the ball out quickly from Dak. They're closing in on him in the pocket. Nothing's really open. There was good coverage on the back end again. And then it gets to 3rd and goal, and they get the corner route to Cooks here in the back of the end zone. Ramsey just gets beat, gets caught a little bit flat-footed. Sometimes, he's really trying to go for the big play. He can get caught slightly out of position. Obviously, he's a top-tier player, and this is going to happen. You're playing one of the toughest positions. But the offense, obviously stepped up for the defense because this was their last play. And it got to end on a bad one, even though this overall was an amazing elite performance from them. But it's nice to see because I feel like the defense has had some big stops to close out games. So it's nice to see the offense then close out the game. Even though it wasn't their overall greatest game, it was still pretty solid. But this was just a great team win overall. Special teams, defense, offense. Love to see that. I think going into the postseason, Dolphins have a top 5 offense. They also have a top 5 defense. Probably the first time that's ever going to happen. And you have the best chance to win it all right now. You have a chance at the first seed playing against the Ravens next week. Definitely look forward to breaking down some more individual players throughout the week and then getting into that Ravens game. Schedule the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.